Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Meron akong itatanong sa inyo, ang gandang diskusyon nito. Palagay niyo po ba, sa mga bansang tulad ng Canada na tumatanggap ng mga immigrants, maliban sa pag-assess ng educational background, work experience, skills, ano pa ba, English proficiency, edad, in Canada's case, even French-speaking abilities, palagay niyo ba, is it time for Canada and other immigrant-accepting countries to also factor in or put more weight sa cultural values ng mga bansang pinagkukuhaan nito ng immigrants? Okay, I asked this question because meron po akong i-share sa inyo na isang commentary, isang piece from a known think tank here in Canada. This think tank called MLI, the Macdonald Laurier Institute. It provides commentaries, insights on issues like national security, economy, and immigration, among many other things. Madalas po ito sinasite sa iba't ibang mga news articles dito. And from time to time, pinapatawag rin po sila sa parliament to give inputs in different policy-making deliberations. Okay? So, ang sabi po ng latest article ng MLI, which is currently being shared on social media, lalo na sa mga sinusundan ko na obviously nagdi-discuss ng Canadian immigration. Okay, ang sabi po dito, it's time for the government to, number one, present data kung saan ba nanggagaling yung mga bagong permanent residents dito. Yung i-present daw yung countries of origin. Apparently, hindi raw ito kasama sa mga annual report ng Immigration Department. Yung data tungkol sa pinanggagalingang bansa. Pangalawa, ine-emphasize nito na mahalagang suriin ito at kumbaga i-factor in sa immigration policy because maliban sa pag-import ng work skills na mga immigrants, ini-import din daw ang cultural values. And whether Canadians like it or not, it shapes Canadian values. Okay, madadilute at madadilute, magbabago at magbabago ang kultura ng Canada. So, yun ang pinupunto nitong MLI. Do you agree? Honestly, okay, just to put it out there, I agree. I agree, no? I think cultural values should be considered, but my only question is how? Naka-quantify ba yan? Paano ang point system dyan? Meron bang ganun? No? That's my only concern. Also, no, I have issues about generalizing a community. For example, merong mga ilang bansa na sinasabing merong low trust, yung kanilang society. Ang paniniwala ko naman, hindi naman siguro lahat ng tao doon talagang low trust ang kanilang values. That's me, no? But let me know again your inputs in the comment section about this. Ngayon, puntahan na natin itong article na ito. Ito po yan. And let me put up my title. This was published January 13, 2026. Okay. Fixing Canada's broken immigration system. Ang mahalagang, ayan, tinutulak nito, presenting more data to Parliament. This is written by Michael Baruchiski. Ginugal ko po, no, kung sino po siya. So, he is a lawyer and a professor. Okay? Discussing these things. Marami siyang recommendations dito, pero pupuntahan ko lang yung sinasabi ko, no? Yan. Identifying countries of origin. Sabi niya, kahit na long-standing practice daw pala to indicate countries of origin for permanent residents, yung mga report daw na sinubmit noong 2024 and 2025 omitted this basic information. Bakit kaya biglang wala? Okay, that's an issue by itself, ha? Okay, this omission aligns with a worldview in which a person's cultural background is not seen as a particularly relevant to immigrant integration. Dahil daw tinatanggal yan ngayon sa data ng Canada, parang ini-imply nito na hindi binibigyang halaga yung data na yan. This article is emphasizing dapat malaking bahagi ng immigration policy ang ability to integrate into Canadian culture. Basic information on countries of origin should always be reported to Parliament for permanent residents as well as other categories. Okay? So siguro pati yung mga temporary residents category, gusto din niya ng data, no? Migrants arriving from a variety of source countries bring different cultures with them. And Canadians should be encouraged to consider how this inevitably changes the multicultural fabric of their country. It is possible to be respectful of the world's diverse cultures while not necessarily importing certain cultural traditions that clash with Canadian values. I agree. I think ang pinupunto nito, no, hindi dapat itong tingnan na discriminatory policy kung isa sa mga titignan mo ay yung cultural values. Yeah, I agree. Sabi niya, posible namang maging respectful, pero hindi ibig sabihin nito na necessity na kailangan mo pa rin kumuha sa mga ito, lalo na kung hindi nga tugma ang inyong cultural values. This further says, by clarifying the countries of origin for Canada's immigrants, we will gain better insight to address trends and problems relating to migration flows. I can't help but recall yung mga narinig nating comments for those who have been here for a long time in Canada na parang ang laki na raw ng pinagbago ng Canada, lalo na kung papanoorin daw yung balita. Yung mga level and types of crimes, yung aggressive behavior daw, lalo na mga gumagawa ng krimen, hindi daw yan madalas makita noon. Eto na, may babangga din po siyang specific country, itong MLI article na ito. Sabi, for example, countries such as Canada cannot be expected to serve as a pressure valve for growing poverty or misery in certain regions of the world. Okay? To the extent that India is the leading source of country for various migrant categories in Canada, it is important to consider the situation in Punjab, a region of economic hardship with high unemployment, farming distress, and a looming drug crisis. Okay? Dapat daw, sabi dito, how many of its youth, along with significant numbers from Gujarat, have used recent lax controls to migrate to Canada and even transit to the US. Okay, so tingnan niyo yung situation daw halimbawa in that part of India na ganun ang sitwasyon. Ang dami daw nang gagaling na mga bata pa, in-emphasize niya na youth, siguro yung mga international students. Ayun na nga na, pumupunta dito sa Canada dahil sa maluwag na pulisiya nito. Dala pa ang kanilang mga pamilya, ang marami doon. Identifying source countries can also help to clarify whether immigrants are coming from jurisdictions with inferior educational standards and from cultures that are not necessarily going to make it easy for them to succeed in Canada. Sila din ang mahihirapan kung meron silang certain set of values hindi swak dito sa pupuntahan nilang bansa. Kumbaga, it's not gonna be easy for them to succeed. Yun ang sabi dito. It makes sense, right? Ang sabi dito, hindi na dapat maging tabu ang pagdidiscuss ng issue na ito. This delicate issue should not be a taboo topic if Canada is to participate in the global competition to attract immigrants. Ayan. Guys, whether we like to admit it or not, kahit na naghihigpit po kasi ngayon ang Canada, immigration will always be there. Siguro not in the same levels as before, in recent years, it will always be there. So, tama lang nga naman na magkaroon ng policy na, dapat ang napupunta dito with the system you have in place are those who will contribute well when it comes to working and paying taxes, but at the same time, yung kukunin mo ay yung swak, yung ugali para sa kultura mo. This brings me to this. Meron din po silang YouTube channel, itong MLI. Ang kanilang in-interview si Mr. Garrett Jones, an economist. Ang sabi dito, ang sabi niya, hindi totoo yung konsepto ng full assimilation na madalas parang dinedemand ng mga tao dito, na kapag daw merong tinatanggap na PR, dapat yung way of living nila i-adapt nila yung Canadian ways. I agree with that. Dapat may effort to integrate, diba? To live the Canadian life. But this person is saying, myth daw yung konsepto ng full assimilation. Sinasabi niya, meron laging magiging epekto sa kultura ng tumatanggap na bansa, okay, yung immigration policy nito. Kaya ang sabi niya, parang ang term niya dito, shop wisely. This video, guys, is 47 minutes long. Okay, hindi ko nga rin talaga napanood ng buo. Pero meron akong napanood na portion wherein this economist is saying, marami daw palang studies na kung saan nakikita na kahit yung mga dito na pinanganak, second generation, third, fourth generation immigrants, nabibit-bit nila yung values nung country of origin nung kanilang parents or grandparents na unang dumating dito. Okay, specifically when it comes to, meron siya nabanggit yung trust, pag-value sa trust, and pati yung savings pattern daw, pag-iipon. So pati yung financial literacy nung bansang pinanggagalingan, nabibit-bit yung pag-uugali. So let me play it.
In the Canadian case, about a quarter of cultural attitudes toward trust got transplanted from the old country to the new country. So it's a reminder that this has been studied in Australia, it's been studied in the US, it's been studied intra-European. It's a well-documented fact right there for trust migration. So you import values from the country of origin. I think there are other more important measures. I'm really a fan of studying savings rates, savings behavior, savings attitudes. And there it's clear we have data from studies from the US, from Germany, and from the UK, all showing that second-generation immigrants tend to have some of the savings behaviors or savings attitudes that existed in their home countries. So the idea that you just land in a country and the new land transforms immigrants or their children to become basically just like everyone else around there is totally false. And the good news there is it means if you bring in people from really frugal countries, you can make your country more frugal. Full assimilation is a myth, and it's time for that myth to be demolished. And it's time for people to recognize that immigrants will bring traits from their home countries to their new homelands. And that, if we care about the long run, we care about what's going to happen 50, 100 years from now. And you're going to get a culture transplant, and it's going to last a long time. And maybe 50%, I throw that number around, is like halfway. So there's a meeting in the middle. And so that means you better shop wisely if you want to make your country as good as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, nakita nyo. Yun ang kanyang last sentence. You better shop wisely if you want to make your country as good as possible. Yan. O sige, dito na natin to tatapusin. So ang mga tanong ko, sana magbigay kayo ng input dyan sa comment section para mas masaya ang ating discussion. Do you think, number one, Canada has been shopping wisely, using the words of Mr. Garrett, in recent years? And number two, yung una kong tanong, palagay nyo, dapat nga put more weight sa cultural values din ng mga pinagkukuhaang bansa. And baka merong makakasagot na makaka-address dun sa concern ko. Kung mag-lead towards that policy nga of factoring in cultural values, how kaya can it be done? Paano ba, paano ito ika-quantify? So that is it for this episode. I will end this here. Bye, everybody. I look forward to reading your comments. Keep them respectful, please. Okay, bye.